Hey everybody, welcome again to another episode of Disability Landscape. I'm Charlie Brose, your host, and my co-host, of course, as usual, Mark Knutson. Mark, who do we got today?
Yeah, today we're going to be talking to an individual that has been involved in a variety of things. He's not only been involved on the athletic side, wheelchair athlete, as a power soccer athlete, but he's also professionally has been involved in media consulting or broadcasting from his days of college at Eau Claire. So I'd like to introduce to the show Pete Winslow. Pete, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
And after Mark's long-winded introduction, we're out of time. No. Pete, glad to finally catch up with you here. You are, well, let's see, you do play power soccer, and I'm guessing that's been on hold this year with all the COVID crap.
Yeah, unfortunately, all throughout the United States, teams haven't been able to practice, and our tournaments have been canceled, which is really unfortunate. Our, fun summer camps we have for power soccer have also been put on hold, so as well as our Team USA training. So it's been unfortunate, but you know what? I mean, as soon as we get out of this thing, it's going to be really cool to get back together with everybody, and I'm just excited to hit the court again.
Yeah, I can sympathize with that. I have a sports group of our own that we haven't met for 9 months, and people are just like, where are we? I want to play. And I'm sure you can empathize with that. Do you play for the Minnesota Blizzard? Is that the team that you're associated with?
Yeah, actually, the team has gone through quite a few team name changes and personnel changes just because, players stop playing or, we just split the teams up because we get too many people. So I'm currently, my club team is the Minnesota Shockwave.
Oh, okay.
And then, obviously, I play for Team USA as well. So playing for two clubs then.
Nice.
So then, how many, well, first of all, we should probably explain a little bit about how do you do soccer from a power wheelchair?
Right. Well, so there's this company in Zimmerman, Minnesota called Power Soccer Shop. And they create these specialized sports chairs called the Strikeforce Chair for people to use. And, it comes outfitted with a metal guard in the front of the chair. And then we spin really hard to kick the ball, or you drive just to dribble it. And think of it more as like the cow catcher on the end of a train, kind of sticks out,
right? So
3 or 4 feet in front of us.
So does it then that company, do they make just that front end, and does that front end then attach to the power wheelchairs, I assume?
Actually, they make the whole chair that it attaches to, and you can take it on and off. They have guards that are, you can attach to everyday chairs, we like to call them,
Okay.
whether it's plastic or metal. But most of the time nowadays, this is kind of the standard equipment we use. Everybody kind of gets these chairs. You don't have to have one, but most of the people that compete at a high level have these chairs.
Sure.
And so, it comes completely outfitted with all the stuff, and the Power Soccer Shop is really good about being able to adapt to any situation that you would need, any micro adjustments they make, so that each chair is individual, and
Okay.
that they want to get everybody out there.
Excellent. Explain the soccer ball, because I understand it is not your average soccer ball that you guys use for the game.
Yeah, I believe it's maybe 1.5 times bigger or 2, and it's about 13 inches wide and a little bit heavier. And so, originally, I believe back when the sport started out, they tried playing with basketballs, but those were a little too small and kind of made the chairs a little more tippable because the ball was smaller. So they needed something a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, and that's what you'd see today. But, we're still hitting the ball really hard. It's the perfect size for what we do.
So, and what is the goal? I mean, is there a net, or is it a marking on a wall? How does the soccer goal work in this situation?
Yeah, so we play in a basketball court, and it's 4v4, including the goalie. And so we just have pipes, or posts, I should say,
Okay.
for the goals, that are like 16 feet apart. And so we don't have a net. And then we've got tape on the ground to make sure that, if the posts get knocked off, that they know where the goal still is if the ball goes through.
And so then, because you were saying that you spin in the chair, so you spin and then hit the ball. Then is that correct? I mean, does the ball ever leave the ground?
Right. So it's called spin kicking, and yes, it does. Again, that's one of the big things that they've tried to really tone back as far as how they make the ball, so that it's not too heavy, but heavy enough to where it doesn't fly up. Because the rules and regulations are the ball can't go above like 3 feet.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's a set ball. The play is just dead, because otherwise, if we were kicking it over people's guards and stuff, most of these athletes can't move and stop it. So that's illegal. So yeah, it does move, or it does fly up sometimes, but then it's just a stoppage of play.
Okay. So it's a matter of safety then, and in controlling the ball height, that type of thing.
Yeah, when chairs get going, I kick the ball very hard, and so you wouldn't want that flying around and hitting people in the head.
Yeah.
I've gotten hit before, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And the other thing, what I'm curious about, you, like you said, you're on. There's a variety of teams. I'm just kind of curious on the structure. I mean, organizationally, as far as how many teams are there? Do you have divisions, and then do you have a national championship, and then who gets on the national teams?
The USA team.
The USA team. So if you could just kind of talk about the leagues and how you can come through up to the USA team and that.
Right. So our bodying organization is called the United States Power Soccer Association, or USPSA, and we have, I think, 4 cups. We try to have 10 teams per cup, and then there are quite a few teams that are non-conference as well. So I would say there's probably, at this point, at least 60 teams plus some across the U.S. just by itself.
Wow.
And then, all of those cups we travel to play. We have to get at least 12 games in before we hit nationals, and 2 of those games have to be against teams in our own conference. If you take, if you're in the top cup and you take 9 or 10, you're relegated that season down to the next cup, and then the people who take first and second in the second highest cup move up. So the teams are always flip-flopping, and that keeps it fresh, and it really does mean something to stay in your own division as much as you can. With that, it's we have a lot of training and league days during the season. That all leads up to the national tournament, usually at the end of June, and that's like a 3 or 4 day event where each cup comes to a certain location, and we've been trying to host it every year now. That has all 4 tournaments are going at the same time, and it's just really fun to get all the athletes there, and it's great to see all the different levels of competition as well. And then there's Team USA, and you are able to, every 4 years we have the World Cup, and you can fill out an application, and then the coaches take the top 20 athletes that they see fit for a 3-day training camp weekend, and we play for 12 hours each day.
Wow.
Or the 12-hour days, I should say.
Yeah.
And they whittle down the team from 20 to the top 12,
Wow.
and that's the final 12 going forward.
So
And then for the World Cup competition, they take the final 8.
okay, and with your team, with your club, yeah, soccer teams are called clubs. So do you have? Are you affiliated with like Courage Center or something like that help operate the team, or are you independent? How's that all work out for you guys?
Yeah, so we are independent. When I first started, we were through Courage Center, and that's kind of where I got my start. And so a lot of teams have places like Courage Center in their own area that they are a part of, but a lot of teams also can go the route of being independent. Fundraising all comes from us, and
Yeah.
travel is out of our pocket. And so I guess we're technically under the Midwest Power Soccer Association, which is kind of just, the 4 or 5 teams throughout Minnesota, Wisconsin,
Okay.
as kind of their own group.
Now I'd like to move on. Part of the reason we searched it out because of your media, your media background, and you went to college, and when you were at college, I would assume you took media during your college years then.
Yeah, actually, it's a funny story. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I got to college, and it wasn't until I think the last week of high school I decided on maybe journalism was a thing because all throughout my life I've played the trombone, and so my dad is in the Minnesota Orchestra actually, and everybody in my family's played an instrument. So I thought that the natural path was going to be
Right.
music education, music performance, music composition, one of those things, right? And so really, journalism and media and video editing, all that stuff wasn't really even a thing for me. I didn't really do very much of that in high school. I was in the newspaper, but that was about it. And so when I got to school, I had met some people that were really cool, and they were big into sports media, and obviously I'm a big sports guy, so
Yeah.
covering that was huge, and just that kind of sparked my interest. And so like the first week I got to school, I declared for journalism and an emphasis in sports broadcasting.
Nice.
And then from college, then where did you go as far as work? Were you able to come right out of college and get involved in media then, broadcasting?
Yeah, well, college was great because we had our own campus TV station.
Okay.
And when I signed up, I was able to basically, with me and one of my best friends, we started our own sports talk show. And so, we were on every week, preparing for shows, making videos, sports highlights, that kind of thing. And then we'd have a 45-minute sports talk show. And so that really, honestly, besides the classes, really gave me the experience of calling games, doing interviews, editing videos, putting a show together, that kind of stuff. And so that was probably the most important thing that I did in Eau Claire, probably, that was able to help me, graduate and then come out of school knowing, how certain things work, and then, what my strengths are. And so that was really big when I started working at Valley Access, and then I worked for the Star Tribune High School Hubs, doing sports statistics. And so it's all that kind of stuff that really helped me get the work I'm doing today.
Okay, and so now you're still involved in sports journalism? Is that the way you want to you explain it then?
Yeah, sports journalism, sports media, multimedia, that kind of thing. I've got, I think, 4 part-time jobs right now, and it's given me, different pieces to go off of. I'll be putting together an online church service every week, so there's my video editing, and then for Valley Access, I'll do sports stories, and then for the hubs, I do statistics, and so I'm getting, pieces of things here and there. Which is nice that it's all kind of different.
So yeah, it gives you a nice variety and keeps you still within the realm of the sports broadcasting.
Are you
Right.
what did you do when you were involved? And maybe you still are, being that you've said you got a variety of jobs going on. I noticed that you were a freelance sports journalist at Sports Engine, an NBC sports group. What was that all about?
Yeah, so that was that was a different side of the Star Tribune hubs.
Okay.
So that was more, going out to games, collecting the interviews, writing a story before the deadline, that kind of thing. And then I kind of transitioned into the statistics role because that's where they needed people. They're basically the one and the same kind of deal.
Okay. And so, if you got a yearning to do like play-by-play and anything like that with local sports?
Yeah, I've always loved watching sports, and I guess I love talking, so I put them together, right? I did a lot of that. I did a lot of that in college, doing the sports calling. I've done a little bit of that now, especially through Valley Access. So, I really enjoyed doing that.
So you doing ponies games then for Stillwater?
Yeah, I've gotten to do a couple. There's a lot of guys in the rotation, so I've been doing a lot of softball and did a little basketball too. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
And when you say you're doing the play-by-play, correct? And that.
Sorry, say that again.
You're doing the play-by-play then, when you're calling the actual games and that.
Yeah, either play-by-play or color commentary. Doesn't matter to me. And then also for my power soccer, we live stream our national tournament. So when I'm not playing, I'll be doing a lot of the play-by-play and commentary for that as well.
Oh, cool. And then the Blue Nation host, that was your thing at Eau Claire, correct? That was your sports show there?
Yep. Yeah, that was the college one.
Yeah, that would get a college.
Very cool. Yeah, I think we're about there.
I
Mark.
think we've got most of our, unless you want to, the one thing we haven't touched, I don't know if you want to talk about your trombone playing. If you want.
Yeah, like I said, I come from a very musical family, and even with my disability, I knew that I wanted to play an instrument, and so there were only a couple instruments that were going to work. Well, really only one, because I use a prosthetic right arm that latches onto the trombone,
Oh, okay.
and that's how I work it, and that's the only thing I use my prosthetic for. But man, it's really been a blessing for me to be able to play, because one of the things that I'm not sure a lot of people know is that Eau Claire is a very, very good jazz program and music program in general. And so, I was able to have a great high school program, and then I transitioned straight to Eau Claire and was in a bunch of ensembles there, and I was able to play lots of concerts and gave my own recital and got my music minor there. So that was a really big part of my life.
Well, we unfortunately we are running out of time. Otherwise, we'd love to hear you play the trombone, but we do have to go here. But
So, should the pandemic start to melt away, when is the soccer season back in play?
Yeah, that's still kind of up in the air. I think with all the vaccine stuff, we'll kind of see. Because obviously, with power soccer, a lot of the athletes are very susceptible to these kinds of things, and having them all packed into a gym isn't necessarily the greatest idea. We're just kind of hoping and praying that things work out and that we are back, before summer.
okay.
Well,
Well, Pete.
here's hoping.
Yeah, Pete. Thank you for joining us today, and Charlie, I'll let you finish it out.
Again, Pete Winslow, thanks for joining us. I'm Charlie Brose. He's Mark Knutson. And this, you've been watching Just Building Landscape. Check us soon. Some fast food related trivia questions for you. So if you're ready, and they
Let's
are
do
multiple choice, so we'll give you you some help there. All right. What fast
Alrighty.
food franchise is credited with opening the first modern day drive-through window? McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, or Sonic?
Wow.
All right, number 2.
I would.
Which of the following
Okay.
fast food restaurants was founded first? Burger King, In-N-Out, Whataburger, or McDonald's?
That one seems pretty easy, but I feel like this could be a trick question.
It could be. It could be.
And Charlie likes to be tricky, you know.
What
I
did
got the same
McDonald's?
answer.
What's that,
What did
Moon?
McDonald's restaurants introduce in 1968? The Happy Meal, Big Mac, Ronald McDonald, or the Egg McMuffin?
Ooh. All right.
All right. Where was the first Pizza Hut built? Albany, New York, Wichita, Kansas, Grand Prairie, Texas, or Los Angeles? And finally, what was
Man,
the
LA.
first what was the first fast food restaurant in China? Panda Express, Pizza Hut, KFC, or McDonald's?
Wow.
All right. Now we circle back and give our answers.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. So,
Question.
which one had the first drive-through? Mark, what do you think?
Well, give us the options again. I just wrote down the questions.
McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, or Sonic?
You know, I'm not, you know, a lot of these, I want to go with Golden Arches, but I think Sonics.
Moon, how about you?
Yep, and I'm going with McDonald's.
You're both wrong. It was Wendy's. Their very second
Oh,
shop
really?
they opened in 1970, they put a drive-through window in it.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't
All right.
think,
So,
I didn't realize Wendy's went back that far.
so which of these was founded first? Burger King, In-N-Out, Whataburger, or McDonald's? Mark?
Go ahead,
I'm
Moon.
going with McDonald's again.
Yeah, I feel like that's a
Yep,
Golden
Mickey
Arch
D's.
one.
Yep. In-N-Out Burger, 1948.
Well, I
So-
thought Croc,
Terrible at
what
this.
was Croc famous for then? You
Well, he
always
had a
heard
hamburger
Croc.
stand, but it wasn't until the mid-50s. He was like,
He probably
was
started
later.
franchising them then?
yeah. So,
Okay.
hey, Moon, you're from you've been through Texas. Is Whataburger what everybody thinks it is? I've heard so many good things about it.
You know, I'll tell you what, I had one recently when I was down in Florida. I don't think they're all that. On a 1 to 10, I'd rank them maybe a 5, right?
No,
They're not that good. Now, when you get into what's that one you mentioned earlier, the from down south? Oh, God. I used to get tacos, a Jack in the Box.
Oh, Jack in the Box. Yep.
Jack in the Box. They're way better than Whataburger.
Well, I'll have to tell my friend from Houston that she's made a wrong choice. So
Oh
So-
yeah.
now let's head on here. What did McDonald's introduce in 1968? The Happy Meal, the Big Mac, Ronald McDonald, or the Egg McMuffin?
Happy Meal.
Ronald.
Well, you guys are 0 for today. It's the Big Mac. 1968.
We
Now I'm
haven't,
getting hungry. I love the Big Mac. Fortunately, we've got a McDonald's here in Georgia. In fact, I can look out my window right now and see it. So
Yeah, well, Mark's going to take a commercial break to go over to McDonald's. I hear you.
right, yeah. If I disappear all of a sudden, you know where I'm at.
So, where was the first Pizza Hut built? Albany, New York, Wichita, Kansas, Grand Prairie, Texas, or Los Angeles?
What was the
Moon, what do
second
you
one?
think?
Grand.
Wichita.
I'm gonna go. Which one? I'm gonna go with Wichita.
Boone,
I'll
what do
go
you
with
think?
Wichita too.
You got
Let's
that
do
one
Wichita.
right. You
Yay.
both got one there right. So
1 out of 10.
and that's
Perfect.
also the new home of the Twins AA affiliate starting next season.
In
Oh
Wichita.
boy. I know.
Yeah, they
Yep.
pulled up stakes from Pensacola, Florida, and moved to Wichita.
And Charlie,
So-
do you have a life? I mean, knowing that, I'm just not sure.
Well, baseball is life. Don't you know that?
Right? Yeah, you are a baseball nut.
So, what was the first fast food franchise in China? Was it Panda Express, Pizza Hut, KFC, or McDonald's?
Mickey D's.
KFC.
Mark got that one. Mark wins the round with two right.
Yeah.